Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Chicago. Great to be back. Good to be with you. We are live right here on the STC Syndication Network. We have so much news to get to. Justin Fields has been traded. Believe that. Caleb Williams wows at Pro Day. The Bears have completely upgraded the running back position as well. We have so much all Bears here tonight to get to. John Meadows is with me, producing, directing, and I'm back. I want to say thank you to all of you for sticking with us while I was out. I had to do some oral surgery 4 weeks after the surgery. I am back. I want to give a big shout out to Joey Christopoulos, Matt Cozy, and Sam Olber for holding down the fort for me while I was gone. They had some great guests, they had some great conversations, and they certainly did a good job in terms of numbers. So it's good to know that those guys have my back when I can't make it, and it's good to be back. I'm so glad to be here, to be with all of you on the STC Syndication Network, 101.1 Peoria Sports Radio, 98.3 The Live WKAN, 105.5 The Ticket, ACTV, JTV, WJOB Cities, 92.9 Talk FM. And would you look at that, one more logo on our screen. We are welcoming in a new audience to Sports Talk Chicago right now. WROK, 1440 AM, Rockford, Illinois. Welcome to the STC family. Welcome to unfiltered, opinionated, and fun Chicago Sports Talk. In case you don't know me, my name's Jon Zaghloul, and it's so exciting to be here with you. I want to give a big shout out in Rockford to Johnny Vincent, the program director, to Chuck Armstrong over at Town Square Media, Kurt Johnson as well. I want to give a big shout out to Town Square in general. They've been great partners, and we're exploring opportunities with a couple of their stations, but it is so good to be on the first one with them right in Rockford, Illinois. We've been trying to get on in Rockford for a long time. John and I, we've had many conversations about trying to get on in that market. It's such a sports-heavy market. It is a Chicago market. I don't care what anybody says. You guys love the Bears, Cubs, White Sox, Bulls, and Blackhawks, and that's what we're going to bring you on this program. In case you haven't already seen it, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to give you my unfiltered opinions on everything Chicago sports, especially Bears football. Caleb Williams is going to be just a huge commodity to be talking about throughout the offseason. And, of course, during the season, we're going to provide you everything end-to-end coverage. We're going to have the biggest interviews with the biggest guests in sports, whether it's media or athletes. And I promise all of you in Rockford, we're going to be fair and honest in our evaluations and coverage. So, again, I want to give a big shout out to Johnny Vincent, Town Square Media, WROK 1440. It is an honor to be on this legacy Rockford radio station. There are a couple of stations that we're on specifically that are really legacy stations. WROK is one, WKAN, Kankakee. Those stations have literally been around for such a long time. They have built-in, established local audiences. And I want to say I respect and appreciate all of you in Rockford for welcoming us into those in the surrounding areas. I know my Rockford geography. Freeport, Pecatonica, Winnebago County, Lena, Illinois, one of my personal favorite spots in that area. All of you throughout the Rockford region, thank you for welcoming us, and thank you for being a part of the STC family. This is just a huge announcement. We are so excited. And the possibilities there, I've talked with Johnny a couple of times, the program director, are really endless. We have a lot of ideas, not just with this show, of course, airing, but even outside the show, what we could do, appearances and coming on other shows and all the things that we do with all of our affiliates. We're going to do the same up there in Rockford. So welcome in WROK. Welcome in Rockford, Illinois. Welcome to everybody. It's good to be back myself. It's good to be expanding. And, of course, it's good to see the Bears trade Justin Fields. Oh, no, wait, did I say that out loud? My bad. But it is good. In case you haven't heard, the Bears did deal Justin Fields this past weekend to Pittsburgh for a 6th-round pick. Now, we did a live reaction to this news on Sunday for YouTube only. If you want to go back, go to the YouTube page, Sports Talk Chicago, subscribe. You could watch my live hour-and-a-half reaction with John. We had a good time dissecting just the raw news that we heard less than 12 hours before. Had a couple of days to process this, and with it going out on the radio, happy to be all buttoned up and have a good analysis of what occurred. I'll start with this. Reports have come out over the past couple of days since the trade that the Bears apparently worked with Fields and his agents to find a prime location for him. Apparently, the Bears turned down better offers for Justin Fields. Apparently, 4 other teams were vying for his services. Find that hard to believe. But nevertheless, that was the report from Ian Rappaport over at the NFL Network. Nevertheless, the Bears did the right thing in general. There were people who were quipping and who were not happy about the return on Fields. Here's what I say to that. I understand your pain. Believe me. But let's look at the flip side for a minute. Is Justin Fields actually a hot commodity in football? Are there many teams willing to cough up a gigantic return for somebody who can't even throw for 3,000 yards in a season? For somebody who's 10-28? For somebody who's one of the worst fourth quarter passers in football? No. The Bears got what they got, and they made it happen. And I want to commend Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, I rarely do this, but I'll do it now, for actually pulling the trigger and making it happen. I really thought they were going to keep him. I was so convinced they were going to keep him that I shut down and just did not even consider the possibility that he might be traded. I really thought he was going to stay. On how the Bears operate, as they've done in the past, they're scared of the public, they're scared of perception. They're so worried about what people are going to say and think and do. They freak out over that stuff. So I really thought he was going to be staying put. I didn't expect a trade. When the news broke, I was overjoyed. And I was so happy to see things work out the way they did. This is not a personal attack on Justin Fields. I think he's a nice guy. But it is an attack on his game. And it is an indictment of who he is as a quarterback. The spin job that I saw after the trade was tremendous. I saw somebody write, John, you'll get a kick out of this off camera. I saw somebody write, and this is a prominent Bears writer, say that this is one of the best Bears quarterbacks of all time. That was written in an article for a reputable news outlet. Not joking. One of the best Bears quarterbacks of all time has been traded. How low could the Bears standards be? How low are our standards? How low are our standards? Now we're sitting here calling Justin Fields one of the greatest Bears quarterbacks of all time, and this guy can't even throw for 3,000 yards. Sid Luckman threw for 3,000 yards in a season, and they couldn't even pass the football back then. In the 50s, 40s, even earlier. And yet we sit here today, we're calling Justin Fields one of the best quarterbacks in Bears history. The spin job, again, is off the charts. I have no issue if you're a Justin Fields fan. I have no issue with you if you feel like he maybe got screwed. I get it. I think he did to an extent. He wasn't put in the best situation to succeed. But I'm also a realist. I also understand what he's done in the 3 years that he was here in Chicago. The answer, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I wanted him to succeed, but unfortunately, the answer is he did nothing here with the Bears. He didn't do anything. Even this past season, when we were looking for that extra step up, when we were looking for that big improvement, right? We were looking for something great. We saw crickets. Now, there are Fields apologists who claim that he got better and better every year and that things continue to improve. I didn't see improvement in the fourth quarter. In fact, I saw a regression. I didn't see an improvement in terms of accuracy. I saw a regression. I didn't see an improvement in terms of finding the open guy downfield and avoiding sacks. I saw steadfastness, right? I saw a regression. Nothing got better. And that's why at the end of the day, the Bears had to make the move that they did. Now, this does not mean that Caleb Williams is going to be a sure thing, although he wowed at Pro Day, which we'll talk about in segment 2. And I'm not insinuating that Caleb Williams is going to be the perfect fit for this team. Caleb Williams now has a lot of pressure on his shoulders because the Bears upgraded the offense around him. Nevertheless, the Bears had to do what was right for them. And what was right for the Bears What was right, key word for Ryan Poles, was drafting Caleb Williams. If Ryan Poles hitched his wagon to a quarterback who's 10-28 in his fourth year in the league, who can't throw for 3,000 yards and is the worst fourth-quarter passer in football, he would have been fired. Say what you want. When you stack all that up together, if you're general manager, would you really stick with him? And I ask that to everybody who's specifically a diehard Justin Fields fan. You're Ryan Poles. You're sitting in the front office in Hallis Hall in Chicago, and you're really weighing out the pros and cons of what's going on here. You're thinking, all right, I'm going to stick with Justin Fields, who I know what he is, or I'm going to draft somebody new. And it's my third year as the GM, and if things don't work out, I could be fired. What would you do in that situation? Job security. You take Caleb Williams. And from the perspective of being realistic about expectations, I'll say this. If Caleb Williams throws for 3,000 yards in a season, he's already better than Justin Fields. It's true. You don't want to hear it, but it's true. If he throws for 3,000 yards in his rookie year, so if Caleb Williams has an average rookie year, even to his standards, a below average rookie year, it's better than anything Fields has ever done in a Bears uniform. That's the truth. So what would you do in that situation? That's what I pose to all of you listening and watching. What would you do in that situation? I have no hard feelings for what happened here in Chicago. And I have no hard feelings over the whole Justin Fields situation. Did he get screwed? Kinda. Yes, he walked into a Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace regime that was already on its way out, and then he inherited Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy. Here's the funny part, though. Luke Getsy today has a job. Justin doesn't. He's backing up. So the NFL clearly thought that Luke Getsy was not the issue in Chicago, too. There's another feather in the cap and another issue that's being unraveled on the side. For Justin Fields, I think this trade was actually a good thing. And here's why. First of all, he gets to go back up Russell Wilson, who's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Everybody mocks Russell Wilson, and he does some weird stuff off the field. Don't get me wrong. We've seen all the reports. But I'll tell you what. He's a Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame quarterback, and there's no doubt about it. And the Steelers signed him for $1.2 million. Not kidding. The Bears should have signed him. For $1.2 million, you could have signed a Super Bowl quarterback. Everybody makes fun of Russell Wilson. You know what? Last year in a Broncos uniform, even last season, he had better numbers than any Bears quarterback ever has had in 1 year. Bears fans cannot criticize quarterbacks because they don't even know what good quarterback play is. These are the same people who make fun of Kirk Cousins, who, again, 1 year of Kirk Cousins in Chicago would be the greatest season ever for a quarterback on this team. Yet, we got people ready to quip right away and make fun of him not winning big games. You know what? Which Bears quarterback at all has ever won big games besides, I guess, Jim McMahon and Sid Luckman back in the NFL championship days? So we got to cut that stuff out. The Steelers have Russell Wilson for $1.2 million, and Russell Wilson's going to start day one, and Russell Wilson's going to do good for them. That's a huge upgrade over the combination of Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph. Now, here's the cool thing, too. Justin Fields is the backup. In terms of being a backup quarterback, I think Justin Fields is one of the best backup quarterbacks in football. No joke. I think the Steelers overall now have one of the best quarterback rooms in football. You're combining Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? That's a pretty damn intriguing room. That's actually exciting. So I really wish him the best, and I think Ryan Poles actually did a good job at setting him up for success, because if Russell Wilson doesn't work out, if he becomes too expensive, if there's an issue with his contract, if he pouts off the field like he usually does, Justin Fields may get a chance. And if he does, it's his time to shine. If he doesn't, he can do the Mitch Trubisky route. Mitch backed up for a year and a half, then the Steelers signed him, and he had an opportunity to start. He lost it, but he had the chance. And maybe there's a situation in which Justin Fields backs up Russ for 2 years. Justin's 27, 28 years old, gets another crack and does great. Look at Geno Smith. Look at even Josh Dobbs to an extent. I mean, Josh Dobbs started 13 games last year. So there is an opportunity for Fields to rebuild his career. And if you're a Justin Fields diehard, that's what you can hang your hat on today. I'm a realist, though. I'm going to hang my hat on the fact that the Bears actually made the move. And they made the move because of his poor performance. They made the move because it needed to be made. That's the truth. And those are the facts, whether you like it or not. You could say, don't bring up the numbers. You got to bring up the numbers. Oh, the numbers don't matter. There were too many regimes. No, they matter. The numbers count. This is what he did. I don't care who was at the helm in terms of head coach, GM, etc. Justin Fields got the opportunity to start 38 National Football League games. In those 38 games, regardless of coach or GM or whatever, this is what he produced. He did not elevate players around him. He never won crap with the Bears. He himself did not progress. He stayed stagnant or, in fact, in some cases, regressed. You cannot ignore those facts. So the Bears made the right decision. They said, you know what, we're going to move on. Justin, you have another opportunity somewhere else. If it works out for you, good. But we need to look out for ourselves. We need to win football games. We're done and sick of losing. Simple as that. And I wish Justin Fields the absolute best. I really do. Because I think there's an opportunity for him in Pittsburgh or somewhere else after the season. Say one more thing as well. Atlanta took Kirk Cousins. The Vikings took Sam Darnold. The Raiders took Gardner Minshew, and they're going to pair him with Aiden O'Connell. Jimmy G got a backup job recently. My point being, there were other teams with openings for starting spots. Justin Fields is backing up. That also is telling. For all those who say he's a caliber starting quarterback, he's a hell of a starting quarterback. Well, at the end of the day, why isn't he starting today? It's because nobody wanted him. Why did nobody want him? Because he's not a starting quarterback. That's why. He's not. He's a backup. He did not prove that he's good enough to be a starter, and he's going to have to earn his opportunity to start again. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. And I got numbers for days that could prove it. So I respect the opposite opinion. I enjoy the opposite opinion. I love the debate. But at the end of the day, if you can't reconcile numbers like a 10-28 record, like a horrible completion percentage, like being the worst rated passer in the fourth quarter in the NFL last year, if you can't reconcile any of those numbers and others, which I didn't mention, then we got a serious problem. And you cannot defend your side honestly with all of those issues that pop up. I wish Justin Fields the best. I hope for his success moving forward, but clearly he was not the answer here.